So my hopes over the next 75 minutes or so is that you can slow down, take some time to reflect, and really think about what you've learned about yourself, about your resilience, your grit, the challenges, and what you maybe want to forward with you in an appreciative, positive way. So what we're going to do for the program is we're going to have some introductions. We're going to do them a little bit differently. It's hard to always get introductions down when you have a large group and you're doing it virtually in Zoom, but we have a way to do it. We're going to also share some Highpoint experiences to get us in an appreciative and positive mindset. And then we're going to dig into our content on silver linings and our learnings. I'm going to share a little bit about habits and some of the science behind habits and how we actually form habits and have them really cemented and stick with us. And then I'm going to ask you to make some commitments on habits that you might want to advance as you emerge from our pandemic situation and start returning, I shouldn't even say returning, start getting on with the new normal or the next normal, however you might want to call it. Couple of ground rules is obviously we'd like to keep things confidential. I don't think we're going to be sharing things that really are, required to be confidential, but just to create a safe learning space, if you will just commit to yourself not to share things that you maybe heard unless it's the specific content. That's fine to share with people. I'm going to ask you to really participate and be present, even if you're uncomfortable, to kind of go with it, come with a learner or beginner's mind. Really respect everybody and what they might be saying or chatting or sharing. I think it's really important to practice empathy right now, and really important, we have to be in a no judgment zone. Everybody's experiencing COVID-19 and the pandemic, working from home, being sheltered in place for a long time in different ways, and every hour you can be experiencing it different. So really keep the no judgment zone front and center. To help us focus first, I'm just going to ask us to all practice centering. So some of you, this might be something that you do on a regular basis. I know many people have taken up breathing exercises and meditation to help them relax and de-stress, particularly over the last 2 months. And for some of you, this could be the first time that you've ever done a centering exercise. But I promise it's really easy, and I'm going to lead you through it. And my hope is that I can get everybody to be more relaxed and more open to learning. So what I'm going to ask you to do is kind of push away if you're at a desk, but just get comfortable in your chair. And it's probably easiest if you shut your eyes. I recommend having both feet firmly on the ground. And place your hands on your thighs, but put your palms up so that you're in an open, welcoming posture. And all we're going to do is take some inhales in and deep exhales out. But we're going to count in a certain way. And so we're going to be taking shorter inhales. We're going to hold our breath, and then we're going to exhale. Why doesn't everybody just take a nice deep breath in? Hold it for a second or two, and then push your breath out. It's really nice if you inhale through your nose, and then you exhale through your mouth. So let's take another deep breath in through our nose. And let's exhale. I'm going to start counting for you. So why don't you take your inhale in and hold it for 4. And now exhale. And I want you to inhale for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now really exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So just continue inhaling and holding, and then exhaling longer than you inhale. Inhale, hold, exhale. Inhale, hold, and exhale. So keep on going at your own pace. Just working to have your inhales shorter than your exhale. And focusing on your breath so that you can clear your mind and be centered and focused for our learning. So keep on breathing in, hold, and exhale. Let's take one last deep breath in and a strong exhale. Release all the stress and anxiety. You can shake your arms. You can do a stretch overhead, side to side in your chair, and slowly come back. All right. So I hope everybody feels calmer, a little bit more present. And we're going to move on to introductions. So as I said, it's really hard when you have a large group in the virtual world of Zoom to do introductions. But one of my favorite ways to do introductions, and I think many of you who have worked with me in the past love my Zoom ball or my thumb ball. And thumb balls are a great way to bring some action and movement. But I can't toss this to you and have you catch it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to toss it. And wherever my thumb lands, I'm going to ask you all to chat your response as a way to introduce yourselves to everybody. Okay, so everybody ready? I'm going to throw up the ball. I'm going to look. And the question is, what was your favorite school course in high school? So what was your favorite class to take in high school? So if everybody can chat their response as a way to introduce yourselves. Oh, Pat, art. Of course, Pat Keating says art because she's a fabulous artist. Shelley, I can see, loves English. Oh, these are great. Okay, Abby Lavigne said geometry. That was my favorite too, or one of my favorites.
Alana likes Spanish, and Beth likes choir. My favorite was math. And that looked like that's what Allison's was as well.
Yeah, so I loved geometry because I had
Annie also liked algebra.
Oh, these are great, everyone. Okay, Shelley, I never thought you'd like social studies. We'll have to talk about that.
We have a lot of music and choir lovers out here. Orchestra from Casey.
Okay, so those are our introductions. You can keep on posting them if you can find chat. I know some of you are probably on different devices. For those on laptops, you usually find chat at the bottom toolbar. If you're on your phone, you can chat. And same thing for your iPad. think iPad, it's in the upper right corner, I think is where you find the chat box if you're on your iPad. We're going to be using chat a lot. So you'll always see this when we want you to chat something, but you can be free to chat anything you want throughout the whole program. We love it. So get your questions, comments, anything that comes to mind that you want to comment on, that you agree, disagree, just anything. Please share. We love the chat. It's a great way to stay engaged during our virtual experience. So now we're going to do a little bit more of an introduction and get to know each other. And we are going to be sharing Highpoint Experiences. So Highpoint Experiences come out of Case Western Reserve University's Appreciative Inquiry process. And what Highpoint Experiences do is they have us really focus on something that's recently happened to us that was really meaningful, that we really enjoyed. Maybe we found peace or we're excited about, prideful, whatever it is, but it was something that was really meaningful for us that we experienced personally. And I really want you to think about a recent Highpoint experience that you've experienced through the pandemic. So something over the last 2 months or so. Again, something that was really meaningful for you. And I want you to get that experience in your head and what it felt like and some of the details. And we are going to be putting you all into breakout groups, and you are going to have one other person to share your Highpoint experience with. So everybody's going to be randomly assigned. It's going to be 2 people that are going to be in each breakout room. And what we're going to do is we're going to have one person share their breakout experience for 2 minutes, and that other person that they are partnered with will just listen. And then we're going to send you a little note that's going to come through on your screen at about 2 minutes that tells you to switch. And the other person will share their Highpoint experience. So just again, you're each going to be sharing your Highpoint experience with one person, whoever you are partnered with. And like I said, this is random. So you might know the person, you may not. So make sure you introduce yourselves, just share your names. And you should be able to see each other's videos on the screen if you're have your video on, which we really recommend. And Erin is going to set up the breakout rooms and put all of you into it. And we're going to keep our fingers crossed that it works seamlessly for all of you. You may have to accept the breakout room, so look on your screen. And it looks like everybody is in their breakouts. Voila! Way to go, Erin. Great job.
Great.
Okay.
That was almost terrifying. Like people moved around and I couldn't find them, but we got it to work.
Perfect. You did great.
Great job. Okay. How's everything going so far? Are we okay?
So
Yeah,
far,
I think we're great.
And you know what I realized, Lena? I never sent the timeline.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, because we kind of had one on the general sheet that was initially sent out.
Okay. We'll be
so
okay. I'm not worried.
We'll keep it going.
Okay. Anything coming that I need to know about? Or are we all okay? Okay. And Erin, are you just monitoring the time when to send that 2-minute note?
Yep, I've got a minute and we're at 1 minute and 15 seconds right now.
You got it.
so weird. Where did everybody go?
So how many people are we up to? Right now, it just looks like we have 4.
Oh, is my slide deck not working?
What?
No,
Oh,
it
no,
is.
no. I'm talking about participants.
Okay.
Because everyone's in a breakout room, so there's only 4 of us.
Okay.
I think we're at around a little over 50 participants
Great.
total.
That's awesome.
Nice. Very, very nice.
I like seeing everyone's favorite high school
Wasn't that fun?
Yeah.
class.
I'm so glad.
Forgot about those classes.
Isn't it amazing? What you learn, like social studies. I can't wait to talk to Shelley
Social
Marcus about
studies,
that.
yeah. Well, it's funny because some people got specific.
Yeah.
Like AP English Lit with Miss Finch at Cohen High School.
That was great. That's great. Yeah. I love the chatting. Good job too, Alina.
Thanks.
So Erin, I'll let you you tell us when they're going to be coming back.
Okay, I'm about to send the message right now to switch.
Great. Yay.
iPhone has entered this meeting.
Dun dun dun. Whose iPhone?
I don't know. It just says iPhone. Someone
Oh.
who doesn't have their
Oh, name on it.
their
That's
name
funny.
on it, so it just says iPhone. I don't know.
Someone
What?
All right, I sent the message.
Probably.
somebody from maybe
Yeah.
a little older age bracket, like my generation.
Probably my mom.
Well, here they are.
Hello.
Hello.
So we have an exercise going on in breakout rooms. So everybody will be rejoining us in about a minute.
Would you like to introduce yourself and share a high point experience from the pandemic?
Ah,
Hi, Cindy Duber.
hey, Cindy. Hey, Hallie.
How are you? I'm kind of late to the game and have no idea where we're at. Can I listen for a moment?
Sure, just you're fine. Everybody's in an exercise, so they're in breakout rooms and they'll be coming back momentarily. So just get
That's
yourself
wonderful.
settled
Thank
in,
you. I'm
Cindy.
sorry for being late.
No
Thank
worries,
you.
no
I'm
worries.
mute for now. Thank you.
Hey, Hallie.
Hi. Sorry if I'm late as well. I got
Don't
a
worry.
client call right before this. How's it going?
Good, good. How about you?
Good.
Good. Nice to see your face.
Nice to see your face.
Yeah. I can't wait till it's in person sometime, huh?
I know. I know.
It'll be soon. It'll be soon.
Yikes.
Okay, so everybody who's just coming on right now, the rest of the participants are in a breakout session. They'll be coming back any minute, and we're going to and then we'll get going again with the program.
I have a question, Jennifer.
Sure.
I was in breakout room 12 and there wasn't a video and I couldn't get any audio at all from the person. Medlers, I think
Okay. Okay.
this was the name.
Yeah, they may not.
I typed it in the chat.
Okay. Okay. Well, I appreciate you being flexible,
Sure, it's okay.
but I hope you thought of your high point experience.
We didn't have any video, any audio either.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes people are a little not as practiced in turning on their unmuting themselves or dealing with the different technology. So we always practice some empathy as everybody is learning how to do this in this virtual world that we're living in. Oh, and who's that cutie you got with you, Cindy?
Can you hear me now? I think I went now.
What? I didn't hear. Cindy, what's your little, oh, you know what? You're muted.
Oh, I unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Who's that
It's
cutie?
Scarlett. It's my granddaughter, Scarlett. We're
Hi,
watching her while Mom
Scarlett.
works.
She's the youngest participant. I love it.
She is. So we're a little bit helter-skelter, but I didn't want to miss it. It's so nice to see you.
Don't worry. We'd love to have you and Scarlett in any way. Don't worry about it.
Thanks. We'll mute up now. Thank
Okay.
you.
All
And
right.
it looks
I
like
think-
everyone's back.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. So just want to ask, I don't know if one person, and I know this is really hard because I got lots of people. If somebody visually raises their hand, I'll see you. Is there anybody who'd like to share just what they experienced, sharing their high point experience or listening to a high point experience? Anybody willing to raise their hand, unmute themselves, and share? Anyone? Oh, come on. You guys had to talk. You had to do something. Okay, Elizabeth, go for it. Elizabeth Sherman.
All right, I'm unmuting. Sorry. So I had the pleasure of meeting with Rachel, and we talked about how she actually moved home with her parents. She lives in the city, but she's moved home to with her parents. And I sort of had a similar approach from my kids moving home with me because they're in college, and how we're now doing Shabbat every Friday with my daughters. And every Friday we're trying a new challah recipe. We have yet to kind of perfect it. We're getting close, we think, but actually this week we actually want to eat it the next day, which I think is a good sign. So
that's great.
I think really it's the coming together of the family.
Oh, I love it. I want to get your challah recipes too. I'll text you when we're
We'll
done.
talk offline. Someone else probably could do a better one online.
Hey, Alina, what's your high point experience?
I think mine's pretty similar. So I don't live near my parents, but I've been able to connect specifically with my grandparents and family on video. And that was something that's always been available to us, but we've never really thought to use it until now. So that was definitely, I think, my high point for being able to connect. We visually now, it's a weekly Zoom call that we have with both sides of my family. And that's just really nice, a time for everyone to connect. And we've now done like virtual family reunions where you get all the cousins on and you can go into different breakout rooms and kind of use it that way. But it's fun to reconnect with everyone that we may have not seen in person, except for maybe once a year, if that. So it's been really nice to come out of this with that routine continuing.
That's great. That's great. Love it. All right. So everybody, think about your high point experiences as you continue to move forward, sometimes reflecting on these good things that have come out of this experience, things that make us feel good, that are meaningful, that bring deeper connections, can be really helpful to keep us moving forward in a positive and optimistic way. So we're going to get back to the content. All right, so silver linings, our theme for today. So I'm going to ask everybody who cares to chat, what does silver linings mean to you? What do you see when we said that word, those two words, silver linings? What does it mean to you? What does it represent? What does it conjure up for you?
Elizabeth says that the glass is half full.
Yeah.
Unanticipated benefits.
Yeah, of a bad situation or a difficult one. Oh, Jamie, I love the positive new perspectives. And hi, Jamie, it's nice to see you. I haven't seen you for a while.
Jill says something good that comes out of a bad situation.
Yep.
New perspectives.
Yeah.
Positive change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all great and all right. Everybody's right on. Resetting. Yeah, Michelle, I like that.
And Penny calls out, it's unexpected. So it's not something you were planning on learning or having seen.
Susan Gordon, oh my God, yours is beautiful. The wonderfulness in things. That is so beautiful. Oh, seriously, my heart, I've got chills based on what you just said. That was beautiful. That's like perfect. So if you look in Merriam-Webster's dictionary, it actually says hopeful prospect. So hopeful prospect. But I think all the definitions of what you said are even better and just expand and bring more meaning to what silver linings is for all of us. So thinking about all these positive reflections, this change, the wonderfulness, even during these really difficult and challenging times, think about how you've adapted. So what agility, flexibility, things that you're doing that you never thought that you would do, but that you have adapted. And for those of you who have the packet, if you were able to print it out or bring it up on another device, we have some quotes and we're going to be sharing them here on the screen. But what I really want all of you to do is to take some time to think, to reflect. And Alina and I are going to read these quotes for you one by one. And I'm going to ask you just to listen. And then we'll have you reflect on your adaptation. So Alina, why don't you start with the first one?
It's funny how when things seem the darkest, moments of beauty present themselves in the most unexpected places. Karen Marie Moaning, Dream Forever. Dream Fuser.
And then Marcy Ridlin, the same wind that blows down your house, shakes berries from the bushes.
She couldn't help but wonder at the events of recent days and at how, even in the face of such misfortune, there was so much good. Tamara Alexander.
Sean Hick, There is greater clarity in the still waters of sadness, something not found in the babbling brooks of more sought after emotions.
Even sorrow has its silver lining, as the emotion that pours forth reminds us of our capacity to love and to be loved, by Rob Kozak.
And then lastly, there was a group story of actors, and it was just posted on Creatively, so I don't know the author. In the midst of uncertainty, doubt stealthily in. And in the face of doubt, one must hold steadfast to hope. And you remember, Silver Linings is about hope prospect. So I'd like you to just think and reflect and think about how you have adapted. How have you been flexible?
These quotes should be in the handout that you were emailed, so you should have a copy. If you don't, I think it was also posted in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Rebecca, if you could repost that link. Oh, she just did. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And if you want, you can start sharing anything that comes to your mind about how you have adapted. And remember, no judgment, anything. Anything you consider a small flexibility, a bigger way that you've adapted, all is good. You know, I think all of us just being home for 2.5 months is an adaptation. I think some of us have been really resourceful. So think about what you've done.
Absolutely. Allison shared, I knew that I was resourceful yet through this. I've also been incredibly strong, creative, and resilient. And I have adapted using my mind, heart, and energy, which are all amazing things that we definitely need during this time.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thanks, Allison. A shout out to you too. So you can continue to think.
More time to meditate from Jessica.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the slowing down has been an adaptation for many people. I've heard that a lot, that slowing down, going at a different pace.
I think also just the connection you value. Some people have mentioned Zoom calls or just connecting and calling family, and you really value that personal connection even when you're not in person.
Sharon, I love your comment, just being comfortable with our feelings. And you're right, it's okay to cry, feel happy, for small wins, anything. You're right. My good colleague, Kyla, I don't know if she's on the Zoom right now or not, but she said, you know, we're really feeling our feelings and really adapting to feeling more deeply, more intensely than maybe many of us have felt in a long time, and just being comfortable with those. Thank you for sharing that, Sharon.
Someone also mentioned just keeping your usual routine. So Marcia still packs her lunch, and how do you keep, I know a lot of people still get up and get dressed even when they're working from home, and how do you separate your day from work and home life? And I'm sure just kind of having that routine keeps things simple and more engaging that way.
Yeah, so, you know, adapting to all this uncertainty and some of the things that we can't predict by creating structure that we can feel some control over and have a routine to follow really helps us deal with the uncertainty and the lack of structure sometimes in what's going on outside of our house and in the world. Yeah, great insight. Really nice. Okay. You can continue to think about how you've adapted. And now what we want you to share, and I think a lot of you might have started thinking about this with your Highpoint experiences, but I just want you to think about what are some new things that you've started. New behaviors, new routines, new habits that you're trying to create, new behaviors, whatever, but things that are new that maybe you weren't doing before or maybe weren't as committed to doing. So anything in your professional, personal, spiritual, it doesn't make a difference. Any aspect, any realm of your life, just what have you started? And again, we have some quotes to get you thinking. And Alina and I will read them off. And if you've got the packet, these quotes are also in that packet. So Alina, why don't you go with the first one?
Alexandra L. says, I'm thankful for my struggle because without it, I wouldn't have stumbled upon my strength.
And this is J. Lynn. Sometimes when things are falling apart, they may actually be falling into place.
Marie Setter says, too many people miss the silver lining because they're expecting gold. I like that one.
Yeah, I love it. Tyler Knott Gregson, we are the silver lining in any and every dark cloud we could ever find. There is no need to go looking for the light when you bring it with you. I love that one. So again, I want you to really reflect and think about what you've started. Alina, anything that you've started?
I'm cooking a lot more. So I went from traveling a lot, and I think a lot has changed for me professionally, but then at home, it's kind of nice. I can cook. I've been trying a lot of new recipes and experimenting with new things. So it's been fun to kind of plan out, and definitely getting better at meal prep and what do we want to eat this week, and knowing for the whole week in that prep for it. So I think that's been fun, but also something that I'm hoping to continue after.
Great. I know
And
for me.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, right before we get to some of our chats, I know for me, one of the things, I think people that know me know that I love to read, and I read books all the time. But for the first time, I started using Audible. And I'm really enjoying it. So that's something that I started that I've not done before, and I like it. And I'm hoping that I'll continue reading by using Audible and do it in that way versus reading a hard book all the time.
That's awesome. I like audiobooks because I can bring several with me wherever I go, and it doesn't weigh down my bag.
Yeah.
But we've had some things coming in, a lot of people sharing recipes and trying new things in the kitchen. A lot of people spending more time outside. I find myself doing that as well. Annie says she's taking daily walks, runs, and yoga classes. I'm also trying to get out just at least for a little walk around the neighborhood, which has been nice.
Yeah. Pat, I love the e-bikes and that you're doing a lot of exploring. I love e-bikes. If any of you have never ridden an e-bike, oh, it's wonderful. Got to be careful though, but it's a wonderful way to zip around and explore. Oh, I love Carol W. is attending synagogue virtually. Yeah, you know what? That is such a great comment. You know, for a lot of us, finding the time or fitting it in or whatever our excuses were for not going to synagogue, you know what? Now it's really easy because you can do it virtually.
Yeah, Lori shares that she's now sending Shabbat text messages and Zoom family dinners.
Yeah.
So definitely connecting with everyone, which is an awesome experience to be having during this rough time.
Yeah, love it. Love seeing all the things that you've started. And I'm going to encourage you to continue to really reflect on things that maybe you didn't realize you have started doing or trying to advance in your life, whether, again, personal, professional, spiritual, physical, relationships. Heather, I love your comment. Just excited to be home and to have some focused time with family. Yeah, family dinners every night. You know what? I have not had so many family dinners with my kids, I think in 8 years. And we have them almost every single night. It's really interesting. And how we all wait for each other. It's really become part of our routine. It's really beautiful too.
Yeah. Mindy mentioned reaching out to at least one person from her past each week. I find that whether it's religiously once a week or just about like I've been connecting with old camp friends, old Nifty friends, people I haven't talked to in 10 to 15 years. So it's definitely a time that is connecting all of us.
Yeah, that's great. I love these. Thank you, everyone who's chatting. Just really fabulous. Thank you. All right, so now we're going to go on to our last reflection. And this is, what have you learned? And I don't mean so much from a knowledge perspective, though it can be knowledge, but I mean really more for you. What have you learned about yourself? What maybe is surprising you? Something that you maybe were a little bit reluctant to share or to talk about, because a lot of times we're uncomfortable sharing things about ourselves. But what have you learned that you really like about yourself, that you respect, that maybe you're more confident about? And we don't have quotes for this one. This is pure reflection. I'm going to ask everybody to think about the previous questions. And I'm going to ask everybody to just take a minute in silence, and I'll time it. And just think about, what have you really learned about yourself? So continue just thinking about the strengths that have emerged, your ability to adapt, to be flexible, new things that you've started doing or experiencing, maybe experimenting with. It's not about being perfect, it's just sometimes about the journey. And when you're ready, you can start chatting. And I would love to hear some live comments too. So once we get some chats going, we'll kind of see if somebody wants to participate and share their thoughts. Jessica Semmel, love yours. Yeah, just kind of lowering some of these expectations and being more realistic, more gentle with ourselves. Love it. Okay, Elizabeth Klein, always love your sense of humor. You're right. Bad habits or good habits don't take much time to develop. Absolutely.
Jennifer?
Yeah.
I don't do chat well, so if I could,
sure, go for
talk,
it.
I'd
Yeah,
like.
go for it.
I've discovered that I don't need very much to be happy. If my family is healthy and my friends are healthy, I'm okay. And I don't think I ever stopped to smell the flowers to realize that. I don't need much, just that.
Oh, so learning. Oh, okay. First of all, I just want you to know I'm a little choked up. Thank you, Allison, for saying that. That was really beautiful. Yeah, the simplicity, and that we don't need everything that maybe we thought we needed. Just
right.
Core things. Beautiful, beautiful sentiment. Thank you. Anybody else want to kind of dive in and share what they've learned? You can just unmute if you want. For a lot of you, if you just press your space bar on your computer, if you've got a computer, a lot of times it just unmutes you. Anybody else want to share something? You can just speak up.
Bless you, Aviva Roland.
What'd you say, Joshua?
I saw Aviva sneeze, so I said bless you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, one of our learnings, a good thing not to color your hair because during a pandemic, everybody knows, right? Thank you. Yeah, so humor, looking at things in a whole different way. Yeah, love that. Or learning how to color your hair. That was me. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
you
yes.
did a good job, Jennifer.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Allison, I love your comment. We do have a lot of power and control on how we respond to things. It's a great learning. Great learning. Anybody else want to step in live or just text or chat your learnings? These are wonderful. I know it's a little hard following Allison Levine's comment. Right? Right, love you. Anybody else? Okay. So what we're gonna do is you can keep on thinking. This whole purpose is just for you to slow down and think today, but you don't have to just think during this webinar. I hope you keep on thinking for the next 24, 48 hours. Let your subconscious mind noodle around and think and see what emerges. You'll be surprised. So I'm going to share a little bit about habits and the science behind them, and thinking about emerging and maybe what you want to bring forward more strongly, more purposefully. As Elizabeth Klein said, some habits really take hold quickly. Whether you label them as good or not so good, that's up to you, because remember, this is no judgment. But I want to give you some thoughts on habits and the ones that you want to carry forward to make stronger or to bring forth that you've never done before. Just how might you go about it more intentionally? So first of all, what are habits? So habits are any unnatural behavior we perform without thinking. And this definition comes from one of my colleagues at Ratliff Taylor, Bill Frankel. And it's just so simple and it makes sense. So any unnatural behavior, so something that's not instinctual, that we're not born doing, that we perform without thinking. And probably the greatest habit that we all engage in, at least I hope we all engage in, is brushing our teeth. So you were born not knowing how to brush your teeth. And it's something that you developed as a habit that most of us do twice a day, if not more. But it's an unnatural behavior. So habits actually account for about 40% of any of our behaviors. So things that we do over and over again, behaviors, unnatural ones, they make up 40% of our time each day. All habits really are based on a 4-step pattern, and I'll be sharing that with you. And interestingly, we build new habits, but we don't break old habits. So old habits just kind of stay, and they get weaker and weaker as new habits emerge and take up space in our brain and in our behaviors. But no, those old habits kind of just linger in the background, and sometimes they come out when we don't want them to come out. And that's why focusing on new habits and building them strong is really important. And we know being intentional about behaviors can really lead to greater success, happiness, productivity, whatever it is, whatever new behavior you want. If it serves you well, it's going to just make you happier, be better, be more confident. And so just think, all these behaviors happening at any time during the day, and are they natural or unnatural? And most of the behaviors are unnatural for us. So James Clear is a wonderful, wonderful author, and he wrote Atomic Habits. I've got my copy right here. And I highly recommend, if you're interested in learning more about habits and how they form and how you can improve your habits, it's a great book to read. And everybody knows, if you've taken a program from me, that I make a money-back guarantee on any book I recommend. So if you buy this book and you do not like it, if you do not find it valuable, I will come to your home or place of work, I will pick up the book, and I will give you the money that you spent on it. So money-back guarantee on a book. So some of the things that he says, this expert, this thought leader, James Clear says, is just as atoms are the building blocks of molecules, atomic habits are the building blocks of remarkable results. So anything you want to achieve, if you can break it down into the behaviors or the habits that help you achieve what you want, you've got your roadmap on how to move forward. Alina, you want to read this next one?
Sure. Atomic habits, a regular practice or routine that is not only small and easy to do, but also the source of incredible power, a component of the system of compound growth.
Great, thank you. So he posits, James Clear posits, that atomic habits are the really small, easy to do behaviors, that when you add them up, all these smaller incremental behaviors, when you add them up, that's when you almost get a super habit, and you really elevate your ability to build and sustain a longer or larger habit. So thinking about habits and forming them in small incremental steps is really important and really powerful. And then last, changes that seem small and unimportant at first will compound into remarkable results if you're willing to stick with them for years. So these habits that we develop that become foundational practices or behaviors that we do over and over every day in a structured, routine way often propel us to remarkable results. So just really quick, I can only pick a couple of concepts that he presents, but this compounding effect. So taking these small behavioral changes that bring small improvements, but as you add them up over and over time, every day, through every month, through each year, the improvement or the impact, the effect on your life continues to build. And there's a compounding effect. So it's just like when we invest and you get interest on your investment or your savings account. There's a compounding effect because the balance grows bigger and bigger. That's the same thing with these habits. As you continue to grow the foundation or the balance of your behaviors, day after day, week after week, it builds and builds, and you end up with remarkable impact. So think about this small 1% improvement, but how it adds up over time. All habits follow a 4-step pattern. So we always have a cue to do the behavior. We have a craving. So we know that there's a reason why we want to do this behavior because we get something from it. The response is the actual behavior, the actual action that we take. And then for a good habit, or one even that's like, there's a reward for it. And it kind of reinforces and keeps you going, wanting to do that habit again and again and again. So always habits follow these 4 stages. And if you want to be more intentional about your habits, think about these 4 stages and really plan them out. And we're going to go a little bit deeper into that as well. So these four stages, the cues. So thinking about what triggers you to actually initiate a behavior. Oftentimes we are really cued by time or location. So, you know, I get up and I have a cup of coffee in the morning. The cue is I get up every morning and it's the first thing I do. I walk over to my coffee machine, I make my cup of coffee, I sit at my kitchen table and I have a cup of coffee. But it's my waking up that's the cue. Okay, that's when I do it.
Marcia gave a great example of people who know her. Is at 5 o'clock, she has a crisp apple to indicate the end of her workday.
Oh.
So she eats an apple at the end of her workday. I think that's a great example of triggering.
Yeah, of a cue, absolutely. Another cue I actually have, so sticky notes. A lot of us have sticky notes reminding us to do things. I have one that says top 3 to-dos. And so every day when I sit down at my desk, whether it's my home desk, my home office, or at my office when we get back there, I've got a sticky note. And I always think first. My first item when I'm in the office or at my desk is to think about what are my top 3 to-dos. So think about cues as a way to make this habit more obvious to you. Something that triggers your mind, oh, I have to do this new behavior, particularly when it's new and it's not ingrained in you fully. Next is think about a craving. So how can you make this habit attractive to doing it? So, what's your motivation for doing this new behavior or trying to work to make a behavior more strong and regular for you? So think about what is your expectation? What are you hoping to get out of it? So for me, with my top 3 to-dos, my craving or my motivation is to use my time wisely and to be more effective of getting kind of some of my bigger to-dos off my list right away at the beginning of the day. So that's a way I make it more attractive, is thinking about what it gives to me. Okay, and what do I get out of doing this behavior? And making it attractive to what motivates you. Next is your response. So what's the actual behavior you want, the actual habit you're trying to perform? And always, as I said, keep it easy and simple, particularly at first. You can build in to make it more challenging or more difficult as you gain traction with this habit or this behavior, but starting small and simple. So it doesn't have to take a lot of energy for you to do what you want to do, and that you get some success with doing it. So breaking it down, keeping it small so that you can repeat it and practice and get better. And then make it satisfying. So reward yourself. Think about, really, what did I get out of this? How can I reward myself? How can I reinforce what I just did? Obviously, you hope to satisfy the craving or the motivation that you had. But really thinking about, is there a reward I can give myself? And I think we all know, fundamental rule of behavior change. If you reward something, it gets repeated. If you punish, we avoid it. So think about how you can reward yourself to keep on doing what you want to do. For me, my reward is I tend to get my top 3 things done first thing in the morning, and they're not hanging over me for the rest of the day. And it's something I've had to work at because I tend to be a procrastinator. And so that new habit, that cue of focusing on my top 3 to-dos at the beginning of the day has really been helpful. So those are the 4 steps. I want to stop and see if there are any questions or comments on those 4 steps. And if any of you have some cues or habits that you're already starting, like how Marcy shared, you're more than welcome to share. And how you cue yourself to engage in that response.
For some of the things that I've started, I actually plug them into my calendar now. Like I've been listening to this woman live on Instagram, but you don't watch it because it's like a sound healing thing. And I actually plug it into my computer, and I find I crave it. So she does it at a certain time, but she leaves it up for 24 hours. And if I can't be there when she's really doing it, I plug it in, and it I've been doing it for 7 weeks, right? So it's really a habit now. Yeah. That's part of the thing. I started it because my mind was so crazy. And it's been really, really beneficial. And I don't think I want to stop it. Like, I think I want to always do this now.
Good. That's great. That's great. Yeah. So 7 weeks, all habits on average, we really cement them in our brain at about 66 days. So Jessica, that's why you're feeling it much stronger, because you've experiencing it on a pretty regular basis. So think just a little over 2 months. And if you practice a habit on a daily basis, you're going to have it really strong, and you're going to have a better chance of continuing it long term. Anybody else want to share something? We've got about 15 more minutes, so don't worry, we're going to cover everything. We got plenty of time if somebody wants to share or ask a question about those 4 stages of habits. No? Okay. I'm going to move on. So building on what Jessica just said, I want you to think about, the habits that you want to cement, really ground and make solid for you so they become part of your normal routine, just happen very naturally for you, or something that maybe you've been thinking about that you want to try to create. And again, for something at home, at work, for your health, for your family, relationships, spirituality, your Judaism, your community, whatever you want, anything is open for consideration. So just start thinking about what you might want to move forward with. What could really help you maybe emerge and take this time of sheltering in place and have a positive outcome, positive movement forward, momentum that you want to carry forth as we start emerging and living in our new normal. So I just put some examples up here. These don't have to be the ones that you choose. And again, really look at the realms of your life, personal, spiritual, whatever. They're all good. Any behavior that's going to serve you to bring into more intention is a good thing. So how can you help create these new habits? How can you help promote them and make them really hold on and become part of who you are? As I've said already, start small. So do something really incrementally small that's easy to do, that you don't need a lot of motivation to do. Keep it really simple. Don't go all in. Choose one thing you can do. That's the first thing. That's the first step or the first strategy. And then increase in really small ways. Again, incremental, tiny steps that you can move, that you can commit to and really do. Don't lean in 100%. I know we're supposed to lean in, that's the big thing to do. And I'm telling you, don't lean in all the way, just lean in like a little bit. Something that you can practice every single day and get better. Break it up into small chunks. So you might have a big goal that you set. Choose one piece of that goal, one part of that behavior, and break it up into small chunks. And just focus on one part, one chunk first. Get that going for a period of time, maybe for 66 days before you add something else. Even when you're feeling like you got something, I say don't add too soon. Hold back, really cement something, and then layer on top of it. And if you slip, it's okay. Be gentle. Just get back on track. You can always think too that, what were the obstacles, what got in the way, but really let go of that all or nothing mentality. And that was actually something somebody said, I can't remember who said it, on kind of being a bit more gentle with ourselves. And no, you're going to have setbacks and failures. It's okay. Just work to be consistent in practicing your habit. I'm just going to check the chat.
Yeah, so Merritt said, don't lean in 100%. 100% is hard, so don't, take the steps to get there. And that's definitely something that you can go one little bit at a time, and that 1% makes a difference.
Yep, absolutely.
And also taking the time and making sure that you're taking your self-care as well. So if we focus on other people a lot, and it's coming from Allison. So making sure that we honor ourselves as well.
Yeah, always, yeah. Yeah, to really honor others, we have to take care of ourselves and honor us. Honor our own self first. Excellent feedback. Good advice. So we do have a simple rule though. Try not to miss, because missing once can be an accident, but missing twice is the start of a new habit, right? Because it's 2 days. So think about that. When you miss, try to get back in. Can I complete it before the end of the day? Can I do some portion of that habit? Can I reflect on what was the obstacle? But you got to push yourself a little. And then be patient. Stick to a pace that you can sustain, that's good for progress, but that you can make a go of it over the long haul. And like I said, go slower than you think. Don't lean in too much too quickly. Patience is everything with habits. It really is. So I thought I would share my journey on a habit that I built 7 years ago that stays with me today, that just kind of is an example of what I just covered. So for years and years, I exercised at night, for many different reasons. But a lot of times I was tired. I would not do it because I was so tired at 9 o'clock at night. Who wants to go and exercise? After taking care of the kids and working, it was a lot. But I did it for a long time because I always thought I could never wake up early in the morning to exercise before work. Because I told myself, I'm not an early riser. I like to sleep till 7 or 8 a.m. in the morning. So I told myself something. But then I had 2 friends that asked me to join just one time an early morning class, because we actually were talking about when we exercised. And so they said, why don't you come with me for one class, one time? And you know what? I went for that one class. I really liked it. I was with friends. It was small. And I did that one class just for 3 weeks. And then I said, you know what? This isn't so bad. I've got this. I'm going to go to 2 classes a week. So I'm going to get up 2 days early and I'm going to do it. And I did. And then after a month, I was feeling good. I liked it. I started seeing the benefits, the rewards of getting it over with, the energy it gave me for the day. I didn't have to think about it all day. Oh, when am I going to exercise? When am I going to run? When am I going to walk? I didn't have to worry. And I got to 3 classes in September. And then I just stayed there for a while because you know what? I didn't want to push it. I wanted to keep on enjoying it. But then I was going to take a spring break with not only my family, but with a whole bunch of families to celebrate my son's graduation. And so I said, oh, I got to do more of this exercising. And so after 4 months, I went to 4 or 5 days. Okay. But it was a really easy transition because I was already doing it for 3 mornings a week. It was simple. Okay. And to this day, and everybody I think can attest who knows me, I still work out most mornings, 5 to 6 times a week. And I rarely ever work out at night. And I built up a new habit that literally has sustained since March of 2013. So 7 years. And it's completely just part of my routine. I don't even think about it anymore. So some of the things that you can do, the suggestions I gave, some other suggestions, we call these habit hacks. Really be intentional. I think it's what Jessica said. Put it in your calendar, write it down. This is when I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to do it. This is where I'm going to do it. This is what I'm going to wear. This is who I'm going to do it with, whatever. Be intentional. One of my favorites is to stack habits. So take a habit that you do really well or that you really enjoy doing right now and put your new habit with it. So for me, I started my top 3 to-dos. My habit is to sit down at my desk every day, right? I do that all the time. So I combined it with sitting down at my desk first thing in the morning. I have my to-do list, my top 3. I stack it with something. My boss, Beth, who I think is on the call, she wanted to practice her tree yoga pose. So she started matching it up with brushing her teeth. Sorry, Beth, I hope I didn't share anything too confidential. So stack it with something that exists. Track it. Get a log, make a chart, whatever it is. I think many of us have, little journals that we've been given as gifts. This is my Federation one. It's a great place to just track what you've done day by day. And then
Jessie mentioned that she tracks her habit on an app called Done. And so that's a motivating, definitely way to track it, and a perfect example that if you don't want to write it down in today's world, everyone has their phone attached to them. Definitely a great way to track that.
Yeah, great. Great suggestion. Thank you for sharing that. And then practice. You know, as you get more comfortable, your ability and impact, it gets easier to do, you get more benefits, and the new behavior just happens. So here's a just a sample habit tracker. If you Google habit tracker, if you go to Pinterest, you'll see all these charts. There's journals you can buy online. There's apps. So just find a way to track and see your progress. It's a nice reward to feed your habit. So now what I want you to do in closing is come up with your plan. So in the packet that you can get to either after the program or if you have it now, think about what's this new habit I want to bring forth or I want to make stronger, and write it down. And think about the 4 steps. What's my cue? What's my craving? What's my behavior? What will be the reward? And then some of the 5 suggestions. How can I think about this in small steps? What would be the first step? What would be my next step? What happens if I fail? How am I going to handle it? How am I going to track it? And what habit hack maybe will I experiment with? I'm always promoting habit stacking because I think it's a really effective way to build habits. So I want you to think about kind of what you want to bring forth. So you can say in 5 years, in 10 years, wow, this is what I got out of the pandemic that has served me in a good way, that I advanced, that was a positive outcome during a really challenging time. You know, so that we can talk about this time and this experience in the future in a different way. So think about it. Okay, so and Jessica Semmel wants to know if she does push-ups every day for the next 11 months. Yeah, you will not be afraid to show your arms. Yes, I totally believe that. And that's a great habit. And what a great outcome. I want to see the picture of you in the sleeveless dress, okay? Yeah, humor. We need to keep our humor and our positivity and optimism going. Okay, so think about your habit. And if any of you want to share what your habit is, or if there was one of those habit hacks that you liked, or just any question, any closing comments. We got a few minutes. I think we got 2 minutes till we say goodbye. So I'm going to let you chat away. I'm sure we can stay on a little bit longer, but I know Alina has some closing comments. And I want to say thank you, but I'm going to turn it over to Alina.
Yes, well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for your insight. Federation is committed to keeping the community connected during this uncertain time and has been developing unique online programming to bring us together and keep us informed and provide us with entertainment. And you definitely provided us that today and gave us some really good insight of how we can take it to the new normal of our future. And so I just want to join, if you want to join Women in Philanthropy on Thursday, June 4th at 7 p.m. There's going to be a film discussion with the directors, producers, and writers of Crimp Camp. Crimp Camp is an award-winning documentary available on Netflix that follows the lives of teens with disabilities who attended summer camp in the early 1970s and their subsequent advocacy work for the disability rights movement. So check out jewishcleveland.org to learn more about resources in our community, upcoming virtual events, and virtual volunteer opportunities. Again, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon and hope to see you guys all again soon.